In 2012, a man named Frank Bourassa engineered one of the boldest financial frauds ever. He printed $250 million in counterfeit bills and nearly destabilized the currency of an entire country. How did he manage to pull off such a staggering heist, and what led to his unbelievable deal to escape a lengthy prison sentence? Join us as we unravel one of the most brazen, bizarre, heinous, and incredible crime stories of all time. Hey, welcome to Valcs Documentaries. From the unassuming city of Trois-Rivières in Quebec, Canada, Frank Bourassa started his career much like any ambitious entrepreneur. He was the owner of a brake pad factory that had a huge demand for its products. While Frank was doing reasonably well, the relentless demands of his business began to extract a heavy toll. Day in and day out, Frank faced the relentless monotony and physical exhaustion of factory life. There was a never-ending noise of machinery and a constant pressure to meet production targets. Life in the factory was a consistent grind that wore him down physically and mentally. The spark of entrepreneurship was dimmed by long hours and the never-ending cycle of production, profits, and problems. It was during this time, amidst the clatter of machines and the haze of industrial dust, that Frank began to question the very essence of his labor. He had a realization that all that he was doing was just for money. This is when he started to look for better, smarter, quicker, more effortless ways of making money. Why spend life chasing dollars through conventional means when you can manipulate the very essence of money? In this moment of existential reflection, Frank conceived a radical plan that would pivot his path dramatically. He shifted his focus from manufacturing brake pads to engineering a far more lucrative product, the money itself. Why work to earn money when you could create it? With this daring thought, Frank Bourassa closed the chapter on his legitimate manufacturing business and turned the page to what would become one of the heinous financial crimes of all time. A $250 million counterfeiting operation. Planning the operation. All the details that we've shared up till now point to one thing. Frank was an extremely intelligent and capable guy. He was not your everyday impulsive criminal, so his transition into the secret world of counterfeiting was not an impulsive leap, but a calculated descent into the depths of criminal ingenuity. Over several years, he meticulously orchestrated every facet of his operation with the precision of a master craftsman. His first and perhaps most critical task was securing the perfect paper. It was not an easy task, as he could not go for just any paper. He needed a paper that mirrored the distinctive blend of 75% cotton and 25% linen used in the manufacturing of U.S. currency. Frank's quest led him across continents as he sought a paper mill that could not only replicate the U.S. currency paper, but would also embed sophisticated anti-counterfeiting measures. After exhaustive research and numerous dead ends, he found a specialized mill located halfway across the globe. With relentless persuasion and a shadow of secrecy, he convinced the mill to embed watermarks and delicate security strips into the paper, each reading USA 20. Execution of the plan. Frank Bourassa began the most daring phase of his venture in 2010 from an unsuspecting garage. The space was transformed into a fortress of forgery, equipped with state-of-the-art printing presses and plate-making machines, all funded by the remnants of his once legal business endeavors and supplemented by his ventures into less lawful activities. Frank Bourassa's team worked with the quiet confidence of seasoned professionals. The presses churned out millions of $20 bills, which were indistinguishable from genuine currency to the untrained eye. The complicated operation had several steps, including precise color matching, meticulous alignment, and the careful application of security features that would make each bill pass the most rigorous of inspections. Living on the edge. As time went by, Frank Bourassa's life morphed into a cinematic blend of suspense and peril. Each transaction was a high-wire act, balancing the thrill of illicit profits against the ever-present threat of discovery. Frank and his team carried out the operations with great care. He sold counterfeit bills at 30% of their face value to a network of international buyers. In addition to mastering the production process, Frank also created an ingenious circulation strategy. His network sprawled across continents, from the back streets of European capitals to bustling markets in Asia. Frank never used the counterfeit money himself, nor allowed it to circulate anywhere near his home in Quebec. By embedding the counterfeit money into the broader currents of global cash flow, he minimized the chances of detection. His fake $20 bills were laundered through complex layers of transactions, losing their illicit origins in the maze of global finance. The Takedown. As you know, even the most carefully laid plans have their breaking point. In 2012, after Frank had successfully moved an astounding $50 million worth of counterfeit bills, the combined forces of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and the U.S. Secret Service began closing their net. Armed with the intelligence from an informant, they coordinated a series of raids that would shake the foundations of Frank's empire. The day of reckoning arrived with the roar of sirens and the blaze of police lights. In a meticulously executed raid, law enforcement agencies descended upon Frank's operations. They discovered over $1 million in counterfeit bills ready for distribution and the high-tech presses that had created these bills. Frank was caught in the act. The evidence was overwhelming. The machinery that had printed millions was now evidence in the case against him, and the empire he had built crumbled around him. But as the dust settled, it became clear that this was not just the end of an operation. It was the beginning of an extraordinary negotiation that would once again highlight the genius of Frank Bourassa. In the aftermath of his dramatic arrest, Frank Bourassa found himself ensnared in a legal web that threatened decades behind bars. But Frank didn't give up, and true to his reputation as a master strategist, he turned what appeared to be his greatest defeat into a remarkable victory. With over $200 million in meticulously crafted counterfeit bills still at large, Frank possessed a unique bargaining chip. During the negotiations, he proposed a daring deal to the authorities. He offered to return the remaining $200 million in fake currency to law enforcement, effectively removing a vast amount of illicit cash from potential circulation. In exchange, he sought a lighter sentence that seemed impossible for someone in his position. Although the negotiations were quite tense, ultimately the deal was too good for the authorities to pass up. The potential impact of $200 million flooding the market posed a risk they weren't willing to take. So Frank Bourassa walked out of jail after serving just 6 weeks. His freedom was bought not with real money, but with the very fabrications that had landed him in custody. It was a surreal conclusion to a saga that had captivated the attention of law enforcement and criminal justice experts worldwide. Today, Frank Bourassa's life tells a story of transformation that blurs the lines between genius and criminality. Having once engineered one of the most prolific counterfeiting operations in history, he now uses his expertise for the greater good. As a consultant on anti-counterfeiting measures, Frank provides invaluable insights to protect against the very crimes he once committed. His days of illicit printing are behind him, and today he champions the cause of authenticity. Now, if you enjoyed the incredible story of Frank Bourassa, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you're interested in watching more of such high-quality documentaries, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon as well. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.